Woo, got one more set.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Alright guys, welcome to FTA. Today we're going to run through a back program. I'll run you through how I do the lat pull down and for me what pros and cons there are. So I like to do a close grip. You might see a conventional wide grip. I like to say close just because it gets a better lat activation and less chance of using that tearies in here that's going to just lock up that shoulder. But for this exercise here, I'm going to show you a couple of key points that I like to do to make sure that I'm hitting lats and I'm not hitting anything else. The seating position, when you come into it, making sure that you're in a 90 and your feet are flat. That's a big one. I see too many people doing these ones here where they try to get locked in and you struggle because you can't actually reach it. So again, this is, I know it's very simple, but a lot of people do forget it. As I grab these, again, closed grip, making sure that the grip is closed in my hand, and I'm tensing the last two fingers as well, which does help support the wrist and guide the elbow down. So a better activation. If you look at this one here, every time I pull, I'm gonna pull from my elbows and then I'll push my elbows back. So as I complete the rep, if you notice, I am bending from my hip. I'm not bending from my back. Not these ones here. Too many people I see do these ones here where they try to hit lats, so they hyperextend their back through the thoracic and then pull down. Now, that one there you're gonna hit a lot of upper back. You're not actually gonna get the lats as such. And so the downside on that one is you're actually just locking up your paraspinals as well, which is gonna lead to a lot more issues in terms of locking up your shoulders, getting a little bit of headachy kind of onset. It's going to let you retract your shoulder blades better, but if you wanted to do that, you should do it through the row. All right, so again, I'm going to run through the reps again and set. Straight back in. Each set, each rep, sorry, so dragging straight down. Here. And you can always change your angle with each time. So if you wanted to get more upper back, again, this is not advisable, but you can lean back further and pull. I guess good variation if that one's taken, if the actual seated row machine is taken and needed to hit upper back on this one, you can angle yourself like it is on chest, or you go at different angles in order to hit different things. So again, here I'm just going to do a full set for lats. All right. So as you feel it, you can adjust yourself and feel it as you go through. And then as you feel the activation go, you keep going. Gets called this first working set. So it's 10 reps. On this one here, if you find yourself fatiguing out, you can always use figure 8 straps or any side of grip strap. The biggest debate in this one is more the fact of how much grip strength do you lose out in grip strength, do you gain grip strength? Now, when it comes to a heavier weight, I think grip strength is irrelevant. If you want to gain grip strength or work grip strength, there's many different exercises you can actually utilize for grip strength. So on this one here, because I'm trying to train my back, so I'm trying to build in terms of build or whatever it may be you're trying to do. For me, I'm just trying to get back into it. But in terms of for back, if you're trying to gain size or you're trying to get the results that you want after it, whether or not it's hypertrophy or strength, if you're focusing on a heavier weight, it doesn't necessarily matter as soon as you're over a certain point with grip strength. So, like I said, if you want to work grip strength specifically, do exercises that incorporate grip strength, like farmers walks and all that kind of stuff. But when you're training specifically for back, and you want to force that growth or force those results, you can use figure 8 straps, see little tools like this. It's going to allow you to not have to worry about the grip so much, and you can focus on the actual set and the muscles that you're actually trying to work on. In terms of wide grip and close grip, if you think about how the function of the muscle works with wide grip, yeah, you'll hit a little bit of lats. But again, it's mostly that scapular rotation that's happening. We want to get scapular retraction down and back. So when we go close grip, it allows us to get that because the elbows are tucked in. Once we go into a wide grip setting, it's a lot harder, especially when you're fatigued. If you start to slack off on that technique, you're going to start to get more of that scapular rotation, which is just going to work the teres, and those smaller muscle groups within there. Mostly the teres. I see that one that gets locked up on this a lot of times, especially when the lat disengages and the teres grabs. And once that teres grabs, that's when you start to get a lot of shoulder pains. It's something that is very easily fixed if you know how to fix it. You know, you can do a lot of self-treatment on it, or you can go and get it treated. But we want to avoid all those types of injuries as much as possible. So like I said, in this one here, I'd rather play safe, better for lat workout as well. I find that going a close grip in this kind of setting gives me a lot better back pump compared to a wide grip. And that whole falsified thing, what is it? They say that wide grip gives you that V more. Not true. You know, you're working the lat muscle in general. This, again, my opinion, you're working that lat muscle. Look at, for example, a reference, Dorian Yates, one of the most beastiest bodybuilders with the biggest back. He just did close grips. He never really went to a wide grip setting. And you know, it makes a lot of sense why, like I explained. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't create that Y, that V shape. You training your lats properly, giving them the actual ability to gain that in terms of growth, that's what's going to get you that V. Bent over rows, yeah? Bent over rows. So bent over row, what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure we focus on, it's similar to what we do with the deadlift, where we're bending at the hips, we're not bending at the back. So yes, we're training back, we're hitting lats. Again, I'm going to go into a close grip setting. The differences in this one here is when we go into a different hand position where there may be grip, right, over or under, right? As soon as we move further away, you're more inclined to lift higher up, which is going to get more scapular retraction. Closer we go together, again, it's going to be more of a scoop and it's going to be more lat work. Going underhand makes it easier to tuck the elbow in. The overhand makes it easier to get the elbow to come out. So here, this is most lats, there's pretty much lats. And as we come out or over, see how the elbows start to come out? And as we start to come up, think of it like here's the back. Grip here, we're working this portion of the back. As we come out and further out, it's going to keep coming up the back. So again, I'm going to keep it close because I want to hit more of my lats. First set. One more. So as you can see in that one there, every rep, my glutes were engaged. So at all times my glutes were engaged, and that's carrying my torso up. So as I'm rowing, if you can watch carefully, you might have seen my upper torso move up and down a little bit. That wasn't coming from my back, my lower back or anything, it's coming from my glutes. My core was engaged the whole time, which allows me to keep that structure to make sure I'm focusing on the row instead of just hunching through. If you look at my grip, I'm going just outside of my feet, my knees. All right, I'm not going all the way out here. If we go out here to this extreme, we're gonna go over grip. That'll be much easier. All right, this is another one. I'm gonna come over here, stand here, and I'll point out my technique when it comes to where my back sits, especially my lower back. So come around to the side, come over here, come to the side. So look how I pick up the bar, right? I'm not hunching over or anything, I'm not putting extra strain on my lumbar or anything like that. I'm making sure the focus is on my hips. My glutes are carrying me up. Again, the posterior chain needs to be activated. So you're not doing one of these ones here, where your back is taking on all the load and you're just loading up the lumbar region. So again, core nice and tight, glutes engaged, bending from the hips. I'll show you. So here, see how I'm setting up? I'm getting nice and low. I'm not just trying to lift up the bar from here. I'm actually coming into it, getting my glutes to grab. So by actually giving like my hips a downward kind of point. So the correct terminology is anterior, like an anterior tilt. So anterior tilt. So as I come here, this is where now my glutes are going to be in a slightly stretched position. And if I bend from my hips, again, glutes attaching to the side and continuation TFL, ITB all the way down. So as I come into a bent position, it's tensioning up all through that glute. If I let that tuck in, this here has tucked in and has shortened to the point that it's not tensioned up, which is not going to help carry my upper torso. And if you can see my lower back is nice and rounded, not nice, bad nice, it's rounded, that's going to put all the tension into that lumbar region and could potentially cause a mad injury that you really don't want to have. So again, setting up is really important. So picking up is just as important, especially when you're doing the exercise itself. So again, if you look at my hips, anterior tilt, right? Anterior tilt, posterior tilt, anterior tilt. So I'm gonna do an anterior tilt. Push my bum out a little bit, not overly too much that's gonna really arch my back and not let my abs grab, just to a point that it's neutralized. So again, here, we correct it, anterior tilt, right? Hence the glute, lift. So that was all glutes. Ready? Every rep, still the same. Here, 1, 2, 1. All right, that's it for barbell rows. We're going on to the next exercise now. All right, so let's set this one up. So, I myself are roughly around this position here. So if you obviously got more of a reach and taller, you're gonna set it back further. Coming here, depending on where in your back you're hitting, you're gonna have your grip placement. Now again, remember, up here, you're gonna hit more upper back, right? Because your elbow placement is gonna be a lot higher. Mid, neutral, more mid back. Reverse grip underneath is gonna hit that lower. More, not lower back, but lower lat trap area. So you're gonna be very mindful of those differentiations. We're going where I'm gonna hit more mid to upper back. This machine is called a pin-loaded row machine. I'm going over grip to hit more my upper back because we've been hitting lats this whole time. So now I'm gonna hit more mid to upper to balance it out. So again, close grip, like you're riding a bike. And again, focusing on this one, I'm going to push my elbows behind me, so I'm getting proper back activation rather than being just in here and moving my arms. So, here. So here is a good two-part movement. So you really hit the upper back properly and the back, well, the mid to upper back properly. Is my first movement is going to be retraction. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back. So notice here, I'm going to pull these back. That's my upper back. Then I'm going to work by pushing my elbows behind me to get a really, really strong contraction throughout that. So this is I'm breaking it into 2 movements, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to smooth it out, all right? So you can see I had 2 movements in there. So the first one was I'm just pulling my shoulder blades back, and the second movement is pushing my elbows behind me. That's going to give a proper back activation. Rather than just trying to think of pulling that weight towards you, we want to push the elbows behind you. But you want to make sure, by working your upper back, you want to make sure that you're pulling those shoulder blades back, retracting those scapulars before you actually start the movement. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to get stuck in that real front moving phase where it's just going to work your arms and you're going to miss out on all that back progression. When you have this grip here, no matter if it's here, here, or here, make sure that your elbow stays in line with your wrist, because if you don't, you're going to end up doing these ones here, right? Here. And if you look, you go behind me, look at my back on this one here. Look at my back. So notice how there's barely any back activation, and that's because I'm focusing on just pulling the weight back rather than rowing the weight, opposed to this is rowing. Ready? Like I said, difference here is we're rowing. We're actually utilizing the back to move the weight. If we stay in this position here, forearms and arm and bicep. So if you've been rolling like this and wondering why your back hasn't been progressing, that's because you haven't been actually working your back, you've been mostly working your arms. So that's a massive factor I always see go wrong. So just keep mindful of that one, always making sure that your elbow is tracking where your wrist is, that it's not going out of alignment. Whether it's bench, rows, shoulder press, that needs to be in line for you to get proper activation the way you want it to work. We're going to go to more mid-back with a little bit of a wider grip placement. Again, very similar. This here, I don't have to adjust my seat because like I said, it's all about elbow placement. I already had my grip up here, which my elbow was flaring out a little bit more. If I bring it in here now it's tucking in slightly. So this is still the same exercise, but we're just hitting a different portion of the back. Before it was upper back, right? Now we're hitting more mid range of the back. All right, so again, same principle, making sure the wrist, the grip is nice and firm, and making sure that you're pushing the elbows behind you while retracting the shoulder blades. So, squeeze, 1. All right, so here, again with this one, you don't have to worry too much about your lower back arching a little bit in terms of getting a little bit of roundedness in it because you have the pad. If you're coming off the pad completely, you don't want to have that because then it's all the pressure is going to be in the lower back. But since we've got the pad to lean on, kind of makes it so you can have that core not engaged as hard, and you can focus a little bit more on that back portion of the back you want to hit. All right, let's go again. So this one here I'm going to do a bit differently. Instead of putting my feet up, right, I'm going to actually let my feet sit here, and I'm going to actually use the pad as much as I can, all right, to make sure that I'm getting a good squeeze, because I'm getting fatigued. So at the moment I just want to still overload that portion of the back, and with machines like this it allows you to kind of alter it and modify to have the ability to do so, because you're being supported by all these extra structures. All right, so again, let's go here. Oh, okay, 2 more sets. All right, let's go again. Woo, got 1 more set. Last set. That's done. That's done. Oh, sweating. All right. So that was back. Again, like if there's anything I missed that you feel like you wanted me to cover, or you feel like I missed in terms of covering, with the movement patterns or the exercises or anything like that, please comment, please send me a message or anything like that. I'm more than happy to run through anything possible. You know, this here is all about trying to make sure as many people as possible can get the technique correct. I hope these videos, I hope today's session as well helped out heaps in terms of giving you knowledge and recorrection on your technique, or even just little added benefits and little small things that you can chuck in to help aid you get better progress. So yeah, again, please subscribe or whatever it is, follow, whichever one you're on listening to this. Just put a comment down below if you want any help in terms of anything run over. I appreciate it. Take it easy.
Somewhere by the Emerald Sea, where the moon and water meet.
Woo, got 1 more set.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.